camera don't look right.
That's a little tilted to the side.
Yeah, it looks, but on the screen it looks correct though. How it look? Yeah, you got it.
Using that one head, the headset you this one?
No, I'm gonna use this.
Okay, so turn this one down. It's that first one. Turn it all the way down, the other way. All right, cool. Testing, 1, 2. Hey, shalom, y'all. By Shema was shot out the thumb. Yeah, was Shema the thumb. By Shema was shot out the sisters. Sedum, North Carolina Sabbath service. Priest Officer Mahayal with me, assistant conducting his officer Yanazar. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get straight into it, man. So if you could blow the horn to commence the Sabbath service, brother. Sorry, Christ. So Amidium, this means to stand. Wapaniakwadum means rise and face the east. We're going to start off with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew.
Abanawa.
Shabbat
Shemayim. Kodash. Haya. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakwaka. Taba'a. Ratazayaka. Haya. Aisha. Ba'arataza. Kawa. Haya. Bashamayim. Natanlanawa. Lakam. Kal. Yawum. Wasalaknawa. Kabawatnawa. Kasalaknawa. Kabawat Yanawa. Wala. Tabi'ayanawa. Banasaya 1. Abo. Hawashayanawa. Mayan. Ra. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwat. Waha'ala. Wahathapara. Iwalumium. Aman. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Prayer for the power, the Hakak in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Baba Kasha. Natanlanawa. Hakak. La Para'a. Kal Makala. Wakal Madawa. Hakak. La Tahar. Ha Matazarayam. Hakak. La Hakwim. Hamathium. Hakak. Al Rakawath. Hatma'Allah. Lagarashan. Bahashem Yahweh Shai. The water Aman.
In the English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Please give us the power. The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it.
Prayer for the blessing in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahweh Shai. Wa Mayaka Allah. Wa Alahayim. Matazabaya. Alawapyahana. Alawapium. Hasaranyam. Hakwatazayanyam. Hakoyayoyum. Waha-akwatian. Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shai. The water Aman.
In English, bless you, Yahweh. And Yahweh Shai. And Michael. And the angel. Commanding General Yohana. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah. Thank you. So be it.
The 121st Psalm in Hebrew. Aisha. Ayanya. Al-Haharium. Ma'ayan. Yaba'a. Isaiah. Ma'aim. Yahweh.
Aisha.
Shamayim.
Wa'arataza.
Al-Yathan. Lamawat. Regalka. Al-Yanawam. Shamarka. Hanala'a. Yanawam. Wala'a. Yayashun. Shawamor. Yasha'Allah. Yahweh. Shamarka. Yahweh. Tazalka. Aliyad. Yamyaka. Yawamam. Hashamash. La'a. Yakaka. Wayarak. Balayala. Yahweh. Yashamarka. Makalrad. Yashamar. Atnapashka. Yahweh. Yashamar. Taza'aka. Wabawa'aka. Mayatha. Wa'aid. In English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills, from which cometh my help. My help coming from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. 83rd Psalm in the Hebrew. Alahayim. Al-Dami Alaka. Al-Takarash.
Al-Tashakwat. Al. Kayahana. Awayabyaka. Yahama. Yawan. Ra'ash. Al-Aimaka. Yairayamwa. Sawada. Wayatha. Ya'aitazawa. Al-Tazapawanyaka. Amarwa. Lakawa. Wanakakidam. Magoya. Wala'a. Yazakar.
Sham Yasha'Allah.
Iwada. Kaya.
Nawa'aitazawa.
Laba. Yakadwa.
Aliyaka.
Baryath. Yakarathwa. Aholia. Adawam. Wayashamai. Alayam. Mawa'aba. Wahagarium. Gabal. Waimawan. Waimalak. Palashath. I'm Yeshabia. Tazawar.
Gam
Ashawo. Nalawa. Imam. Hayawa. Zerawai. Labanya Lawat. Salah. Aishalaham. Kamadian. Kasaya. Sara'ah. Kayabian. Banakal. Kwayashwan. Nashamadwa. Bayan. Da'ara. Hayawa. Daman. La'adama. Shayatamwa. Nada. Yabmawa. Ka'arab. Kazabak. Wakatazal. Mana'ai.
Kal Nasaya Kamwa.
Ashar.
Amarwa. Nayarishah.
Lanawa. Ath. Na'awa.
Alahayam.
Alahaya.
Shayatamwa.
Kagogila. Kakwash. Lapanyararaka.
Ka'ash.
Tabiyaira. Yaira.
Wakalahaba. Dalahat. Harayam. Khan. Daradapma. Basairika. Wabasa. Wapathka. Tabahalam. Mala'a. Panyahum. Kwalawan. Wayabakwashwa. Shimka. Yahweh. Yabashwa. Panyahum. Kwalawan. Wayabakwashwa. Shimka. Yahweh. Yabashwa. Wayabaholwa. Ayai. Wayakaparwa. Wayabadwa. Wayadayawa. Kaya Atha. Shimka. Yahweh.
Yahweh,
Labadka,
Abadka,
Al Yawan,
Al Yawan,
Al Kal Ha'arataza.
Al Kaha Rataza. In the English, keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace,
Hold not thy peace,
and be not still,
be not still.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For lo,
For lo,
thine enemies make a tumult,
thine enemies make a tumult,
and they that hate thee
they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
lifted up their head.
They have taken crafty counsel
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people,
against thy people,
and consulted
and
against
consulted against
thy hidden
thy
ones.
hidden ones.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
come
and let us cut them off
and let us cut them off
from being a
from
nation,
being a nation,
that the name of Israel
that the name of Israel
may be no more
may be
remembrance.
no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together
For they have consulted together
with one consent.
with one consent.
They are confederate against
They
thee.
are confederate against
The
thee.
tabernacles of Edom,
The tabernacles of Edom
and the Ishmaelites,
and the Ishmaelites
of Moab,
of Moab,
and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur
Assur
also is joined with them.
is joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah,
Salah,
do unto them
do unto them
as unto the Midianites,
as unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of Kison,
at the brook of Kison,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles
Make their nobles
like Oreb
like Oreb
and like Zeeb.
and like Zeeb.
Yea,
Yea,
all their princes,
all their princes,
as Zabah
as Sabbath,
and as Almunah,
and as Almunah,
who said,
who said,
Let us take to
"Let us
ourselves
take to ourselves
the houses of Yahweh in possession.
the houses of Yahweh in possession.
O my power,
Oh, my power,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the fire burneth a wood,
as the fire burneth a wood,
and as the flame
and as the flame
setteth the mountains on fire.
setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them
persecute them
with thy
with
tempest,
thy tempest,
and make them afraid
make them afraid
with thy storm.
with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh,
Oh, Yahweh,
let them be confounded
let them be confounded
and trouble forever.
and troubled forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame
let them be put to shame
and perish,
and perish,
that men may know
that men may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the Most High
art the Most High
over all the earth.
Lord,
Sharp, seated. We're gonna pick back up where we left off at. Which was Exodus 7:12, right? Pick back up in the book of Exodus, chapter 7 and verse 12. For those who would like to read along. So like for those who like to, read along, you can just go to blueletterbible.org, right? blueletterbible.org. You know what I'm saying? Type in Exodus at the top. Scroll down to verse 12. And if you press that button on the side that says tools, it'll pull up this here in the Hebrew, right? Which is what we'll be reading out of or reading from. So we're gonna get started. Just like Yanazar, whenever you're ready.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 7, and verse 12 in the Hebrew. Waya Shalayakwa Ayash Matahawa Wayahawa Lathunya Num Wala Waya Balai Mata Aharan Ath Matathum. Verse 13. Wayahazak Laba Parai Wala'a Shemai Alahum Ka'ashar Dabar Yahweh. Verse 14. Waya Amar Yahweh al Mashah Kabad Laba Parai Ma'an, Lashalak, Ha'im. Verse 15. Laka al Para'ai, Babakwar, Hana, Aitaza'a, Hamayamma, Wana Tazabath, Lakwara Athwa, Al, Shapath, Hayar, Waha Mata, Ashar, Na Hapak, Lanakash, Hakwak, no, Salakia, Thakwath, Salakia, Bayadaka. Verse 16. Why Amara, why Salakia, why Amarath, Aliyawa, Yahweh, Alahaya, Ha'ai Barium, Shalathiana, Shalaknaya, Aliyaka, La Amar, Shalak, Ath, Anya, Waya Abadnaya, Bama Debar, Wahana, La'a, Shama'aith, Aid, Ka or Kaha. Verse 17. Ka, Amar, Yahweh, Baza'ath, Thadai, Kaya, Anya, Yahweh, Hana, Anakia, Makah, Bama'ai. No, Bamata, Ashar, Bayadaya, Al, Hamayam, Ashar, Bayar, Wana Hapakwa, Ladam. Yeah, couldn't want to come to water, sir. Verse 18. Waha Daga, Ashar, Bayar, Bamawath, Waba'ash, Hayar, Wana La'awa, Matazarayim, Lashathwath, Mayam, Mun, Hayar. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 7 and verse 12 in English. For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. Verse 13. And he hardened Pharaoh's heart, that he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. Verse 14. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hardened. He refuseth to let the people go. Verse 15. Get thee unto Pharaoh in the morning. Lo, he goeth out unto the water, and thou shalt stand by the river brink against he come. And the rod which was turned to a serpent shalt thou take in thine hand. Verse 16. And thou shalt say unto him, the Lord God of the Hebrews has sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hither thou wouldest not hear. Hitherto thou wouldest not hear. Salakia. And verse 17. Thus saith the Lord, in this thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in mine hand upon the water which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. Verse 18. And the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink. And the Egyptians shall loathe to drink of the water of the river. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 7, verse 19 in Hebrew. Waya Amar Yahweh al-Mashah Amar al-Aharon Kwak Matak Wanata Yadaka al Mayamya Matazarium al Naharatham al Ariahum wa al Agumyahum wa al Kal Makwawa Mayahum Waya Hayawa Dum Wahaya Dum Bakal Aratazar Matazarium Waba I Tazayum Waba Abunyam Wa Abunyam. Verse 20. Waya Aishawa Khan Masha Wa Aharon Ka'ashar Tazawa Yahweh Wayahram Bamata Wayaka Ath Hamayam Ashar Bayar La Ainia La Ayanaya Parai Wala Ayanaya Ibadjawa Waya Hapakwa Kal Hamayam Ashar Bayar Ladam. Verse 21. Salakia. Oh, I started on 19. Yeah, we read up to 18, and then I started at 19 in the Hebrew. I did read the English. Yeah. I read the English up to 18.
Oh, it's like I'm trying to read it.
What was it, 21?
Yeah.
Verse 21. Waha Daga Ashar Bayar Matha Wayabaash Hayar Wala'a Ya Kolwa Matazarium Lashathwa. No, Lashath. Lashath the Wath Mayam Mun Hayar Wayahaya Hadam Bakal Aratazar Matazarium. Verse 22. Waya Ashwa Khan Hara Tumya Matazarium Bala Tayahum Waya Hazak Laba Harai Wala'a Shemai Alahum Ka'ashar Dabar Yahweh. Verse 23. Waya Pun Parai Waya Ba'a Al Bayahawa Bayathwa Salakia Bayathwa Wala'a Shath Labawa or Labwa Gum Laza'ath. 24 is the last one, right? Verse 24. Waya Kaparwa Kal Matazarium Sabbath Hayar Mayam Lashathwath Kaya La'a Yakolwa Lashathpath Mumya Maya. Mumya Maya. My Mayumya. My Mayumya. Hayar. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 7 and verse 19 in English. And the Lord spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron, take thy rod and stretch out thine hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon their rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon all their pools of water, that they may become blood, and that they may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. Verse 20, and Moses and Aaron did so, as the Lord commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river, in the sight of Pharaoh, and in the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the rivers were turned to blood. Verse 21, and the fish that was in the river died, and the river stank. And the Egyptians could not drink of the water of the river, and there was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. Verse 22, and the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantment, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened. Neither did he hearken unto them, as the Lord had said. Verse 23, and Pharaoh turned and went into his house, and neither did he set his heart to this also. He got hard-headed. Verse 24, you know, you can picture him, right?
Yeah.
Verse 24, and all the Egyptians digged round about the river for water to drink, for they could not drink of the water of the river. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 7 and verse 25 in Hebrew. Waya mala'ah SABBATH yum Akaria Hakawath Yahawa'ath Hayar. Next chapter. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 8 and verse 1 in the Hebrew. Waya Amar Yahweh al-Mashah Ba'a al-Para'ai wa Amarath al-Yahweh ka Amar Yahweh Shalak Ath Anya Waya Abadnaya. Verse 2, Lashalath or Lashalak Hana Anakia. Oh, some up here. Salakia. Wa ma awa ma salakia. Wa ma an afa Lashalak Hana Anakia Nagap. Ath Cow Gadawalaka Bataza Para the Imium Bataza Parad the Ayam. That's a good one. Verse 3, Washa Rataza Hayar Tazapat the Ayam Wa Ailawa Waba'awa Baba Yathaka Wabakadar Masha Kabadaka Masha Kabadka Wa'al Mataka Waba Bayath, Ibadiaka, Waba Imaka, Waba Kana Waryaka, Waba Masha Arya Wathiaka. Verse 4. Wabaka, Waba Imaka, Wabakal, Ibadiaka, Ya Al Ya La Al Ya Wa La Alwa, Ya Alwa, Hataza Paradayam. 5 should be the last. Yeah. 6 was the last one. Verse 5. Waya Amar, Yahweh, Al Mashah, Amar Al Aharon, Natah Ath, Yadaka, Bamataka Al Hana Harath, Al Hayarium, Wa Al Ha'agumnium, Wa Ha'al Ath, Hatazab Paradayam, Al Aratazar Matazarium. Verse 6. Wayat Aharon Ath Yadwa Al Mayamya Matazarium Wafaal Hataza Paradai Wathakam Wathakas Ath Aratazar Matazarium. Okay, let's go back. Okay, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 7 and verse 25 in the English. And 7 days were fulfilled, and the Lord had smitten the river. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 8 and verse 1 in the English. And the Lord spake unto Moses, Go unto Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. Verse 2. And if thou refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all thy borders with frogs. Verse 3. And the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly, which shall go up and come into thine house, and into thy bedchamber, and upon thy bed, and into the house of thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thine ovens, and into thy kneading throws. Meaning there's going to be frogs everywhere. Verse 4, Salakia. And the frog shall come up both on thee and upon thy people and upon all thy servants. Verse 5. And the Lord spake unto Moses, Say unto Aaron, Stretch forth thine hands with thy rod over the streams and over the rivers and over the ponds, and cause frogs to come upon the land of Egypt. Verse 6. And Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 8 and verse 7 in Hebrew. Waya Ishawa Khan Hakorat Tumyum Balatayahum Waya Aliwa Ath Hat taza paradium al aratazar matazarium. Verse 8. Waya kwara'a para'i lamasha wala haron waya amar ha Ithia Raw Ithiarwa Ha Ithiarwa Al Yahweh Wayasar Ha Taza Para Daayam Mamunya wa Ma'imia wa Ashalaka Ath Ha'im Waya Zabakwa La Yahweh. Verse 9. Waya Amar Masha La Para'ai Hafa Pa'ar Aliyah La Mathia Aithiar Laka Wala Ibadiaka Wala Imaka Laha Kariath Hataza Para Daayam Mamaka Wama Bathiaka Rock Bayar Basha Arna Basha Arna. Verse 10. Waya Amar Lamakar Waya Amar Ka the Baraka Lama Ain Thadai Kaya Ayun Kaya Hawa Alahayanawa. Verse 11. Wasarwa Hataza Para Daim Mamaka Wama Bathiaka Wama Ibadiaka Wama Imaka Rock Bayar Basha Arana. Verse 12. Waya Taza'a Masha Wa Harun Ma'aim Para'ai Waya Taza'ik Masha Al Yahweh Al Dabar Ha Taza Paradaim Ashar Shem La Para'ai. 13 should be the last.
You started at 7, right?
Yeah.
So
14. Verse 13.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. 13.
Karawankan. Waya Aish Yahweh Kadabar Masha Waya Mathwa Hataza Parad the Aim the Ayam Man Habathium Man Hakar Tazarath Waman Hashadath. This is the book of Exodus chapter 8 and verse 8. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, entreat the Lord that he may take away the frog from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may sacrifice unto the Lord. Verse 9. And Moses said unto Pharaoh, glory over me, when shall I entreat for thee and for thy servants and for thy people to destroy the frog from thee and thy houses, that they may remain in the rivers only? Verse 10. And he said, tomorrow. And he said, be it according to thy word, that thou mayest know that there is none like unto the Lord our God. Verse 11, and the frog shall depart from thee, and from thy houses, and from thy servants, and from the people. They shall remain in the rivers only. Verse 12, and Moses and Aaron went up out from Pharaoh, and Moses cried unto the Lord because of the frogs which he had brought against Pharaoh. Verse 13, and the Lord did according to the word of Moses, and the frogs died out of the houses and out of the village and out of the field. This is the book of Exodus chapter 8, verse 14 in Hebrew. Wayatazabarwa athum pamarum ham pamarum watha ba'ash ha'aratazar. Verse 15. Wayara'a para'ai kaya hayatha hara waka waha kabad af labwa wala'a shemai alaham ka'ash ka'ashar, so like the bar Yahweh. Verse 16. Waya Amar Yahweh al-Mashah, Amar al-Aharon, Nata af mataka wahaka af aipar ha'arataza wahaya lakanam bakal arataza matazarium. Verse 17. Waya Aishawa Khan Waya Wayat Harun Ath Yadwa Bama Tahawa Wayad Ath Ipar Ha'aratazar Wathahaya Haikanum Ba'adam Waba Bahumma Kal Ipar Ha'aratazar Haya Kanayam Bakal Aratazar Matazarium. Verse 18. Waya Aishawa Khan Hakaratumnium Bala Tayahum Balati Hayam Balatayahum Tayahum Balatayahum La Hawat Tazaya Ath Hakanyum Wala Yakolwa Wathahaya Hakanum Ba'adam Waba Bahama. Verse 19. Waya Amarwa Hakarat Tumnium Al Para'ai A Tazaba'ai Alahayim Hawa'a Waya Hazak Laba Para'ai Wala'a Shemai Alahum Ka'ash Debar Yahweh. Verse 20. Waya Amar Yahweh al-Mashah Hashakam Babakwar Waha Bayatazab Lapunya Para'ai Hana Yawa Taza'awa. Yai Salakia. Yawa Taza'a. Hamayama. Wa Amarath. Wa Amarath. Aliyawa Ka Amar Yahweh Shalak. Amya Waya Ibadnya. Abadunya. Oh, sorry, correct. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 8 and verse 14 in English. And they gathered them together upon heaps, and the land stink. Ooh-wee. But when Pharaoh saw that there was respite, he hardened his heart and hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. So he went back on his word again. He's really a wicked man.
Wait, read that one more time. What was that word it say?
It says, but when Pharaoh saw that there was respite,
He saw they were starting to chill, starting to relax. He's starting to relax, man. So I'm getting complacent. You know, a slave master hate that, boy. He started to realize that what he was losing that grip he had on him. He like, oh hell no. Oh hell no. To hell with what they Lord talk. What? They think it's a game. You know what I'm saying? This prideful bastard, man. Which is what? Which is the same spirit of America, man.
that's right.
It's the same spirit of this place, man. They don't want us to be relaxed. They don't want us to. They want you to always be on your toes, man. You know who knows that? You know who knows and understand that it's their job to do that? Law enforcement. Law enforcement understand that it's their job to be taskmasters, man. You understand that the little oppressors, man, they may not get it. You know what I mean? But you got some oppressors, man. They even the damn civilians, some of them, they just have the spirit of their ancestors, man. They understand what their job is to do, and that's the what? Keep their foot on our necks, man.
And if I may, sir, the proof of this is simply this. They are never convicted without video evidence.
Come on, man.
If you don't have video evidence, you're not going to convict them. Even with video evidence in Rodney King's case and some other cases, they still were not convicted. So that's the proof right there that they know what they're doing and they know what their job is, just as my Ottawa just said. You understand?
They understand. They understand that, and that's like a hard concept for our people to understand when you're not in the truth, man. Because we don't understand how this world works. You know what I mean? We live in this facade in this place, thinking, you know, we can all love each other. We can just be at peace. And, you know, slavery is in the past, man. It's in the past. When it's not, man. It's not. It's still here today. And the oppressor understands that. You know what I'm saying? The only ones that are confused is us. Hell, even the other nations understand that. They know that the oppressor is trying to, you know, maintain and manage their slaves. They know, man. These other nations, man, they talk about it in their homes. They talk about how the slaves, you know what I'm saying, the so-called Black Hispanic, they know we are the slaves, man. They know America still got that tight grip on us, but they like, well, it ain't got nothing to do with us. What we gonna do? They got their own problems to worry about. They trying to get America out their countries and out their business. You understand? So it's up to us, man, to band together and come back and serve the Lord, man.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
It's like it. Remember what Harriet Tubman said, man.
What she said?
She said, I could have freed more slaves if they had only knew that they were slaves.
Come on, man.
That was heavy, man.
She wouldn't have to waste all that time breaking down Martin Luther King speeches to him to get him to get some gumption, man, to, you know what I'm saying, to gird up their loins and get the hell up out of there. You know what I mean?
I remember when Commander General Yohana, you know, he got this young Edomite to admit that we were still slaves in New York City. Commander General Yohana, you can see the video. He got them to admit. He got this young white man to admit that we were still slaves. So even they know down in their heart, they know what a slave is, but you don't know that you're a slave. I know that I'm a slave. and I can deal with it. But you know what is not a slave? My spirit is not a slave to them.
Damn right.
At all.
Damn right. That's heavy, brother.
You understand? That's why we have the Isupk under Commanding General Yohana.
Damn right.
We could free a lot more slaves if they just knew they were slaves, yo. Okay. Verse 16. And the Lord said unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch out thy rod and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt. Verse 17. And they did so, for Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in man and in beast. All the dust of the land became lice throughout the land of Egypt. Verse 19. And the magicians did so with their enchantment to bring forth lice, but they could not. So were lice upon man and upon beasts. I remember, and I want this class again. Our captain Nathak gave a class on each one of these plagues being a destruction of their gods, man.
Yeah, can. That's heavy. Like the Lord just, this is like what he did to the Egyptians is like this maximum humiliation, man. You know what I mean? The Lord, you know, people misunderstanding the Lord. It's just, and when you actually learn how to read this Bible and learn, you know what I mean, to have the perspective of an Israelite, and you read how the Lord knows how to humiliate a nation, man. He knows how to destroy a nation. He knows how to make an example out of somebody. And these plagues, you know what I'm saying? He made an example out of all of their gods, man, all of their powers, their deities, and proved them all to be nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing. So much so that, you know what I mean, thousands of years later, the story is still talked about to this day. Now, of course, you know what I mean, the meaning behind it, you know what I mean, of course, is misinterpreted. But that, you know what I'm saying, but that story, this Bible was written thousands of years ago. The story that's in this book, that, you know, that's where the movie comes from. You know that, right? You know, they didn't just randomly just think about this movie in Hollywood and say, oh, let's make a movie about Egypt. No, that story comes from this Bible. Yet they want to discredit the book so much. You know what I mean? That story about Egypt and how the Lord destroyed that place comes from a book that people think is a fairy tale. People think is a fantasy. You understand? When this is the records, man, of the Israelites, and this is proof that we serve a higher power that, you know, no one can overthrow, man. You can't box with the Lord, man. Your arm's too short. You understand? And America is learning that every day. We're getting closer and closer, you know what I'm saying, to the damnation of this place, man. And the Lord gonna make an example out of America the same way he made an example out of Egypt. The same way he made an example out of all these great nations that ruled and conquered the earth, you know what I mean, for as long as they could. You know what I mean? America's going to fall the same way. And guess what's going to go? It's going to go right in the records. It's going to go right in the records. And there's going to be stories talked about this great place called you know what I'm saying, the USA, the American Empire, and all their great battles and how long they ruled and all the people they conquered. And most importantly, how the hell they failed, man. You understand? Just stay tuned. You'll see.
Verse 19. Then the magician said unto Pharaoh, this is the finger of God. You know, they tried everything they knew. They knew the deal. They knew they used all their tricks, and none of them worked.
They tried, didn't they?
They sure did, but they knew that there was a power higher than them. The gig was up, man. This is the finger of God. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened. You know why? Because Pharaoh thought that he was God. He thought that he was God on earth, man. And when you look at Babylon, you look at Egypt and America, it's the same thing. They think that they're the highest power. And I'm going to prove it with one statement, in that they're preparing to fight against Christ as we speak.
Come on, man.
Now,
No, that's too heavy for them. They don't understand that.
Salakia, sir.
They don't get that. You understand?
And he hearkened not unto them.
So like that Space Force just for show for them. They just think, just for show. That's all that is.
And he hearkened not unto them as the Lord had said. Verse 20. And the Lord said unto Moses, rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh. Lo, he cometh forth to the water, and lay upon him thus, saith the Lord, let my people go that they may serve me. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 8 and verse 21 in the Hebrew. Kaya ayanka, Salakia, ayanka, mashalak ath, amya, hananya, mashallayak, baka, waba ibadyaka, waba imadka, waba bathyaka, ath, ha irab, wamal la'awa, bathia, matazarium ath, ha irab, wagam, ha arama, ashar, hum, aliyah. Verse 22. Waha palayathia bayawum, Salakia, bayawum, haha wa'ah, ath, aratazah, gashun, ashar, amya, imad, aliyah, labalathia, wayawath, shum, irab, lama'ain, thadai, kaya, anya, Yahweh, bakarab, aratazah. This verse 23. Washamathia, Padath, Bayan, Amya, Wabayan, Imaka, Lamakar, Yahweh, Ha'ath, Hazah. Verse 24. Waya Aish, Yahweh Khan, Wayaba'ah, Irab, Kabad, Bayatha, Para'ai, Wabayath, Ibadyawa, Wabakol, Aratazar, Matazarium, the Aishkath, the Shaf, Salakia, the Shakath, Aratazar, Mapanya, Ha'arab. Verse 25. Waya Kwara'a, Para'ai al-Mashah, Wala Aharon, Salakia, Waya Amar, Lakwa, Zabakwa, La Alahayakam Ba'aratazar. Verse 26. Waya Amar Mashah La'ah Nakawan La'ai Khan Kaya Tawa Ibath Matazarium Nazabak La Yahawa Alahayanawa Hun Nazabak Ath Tawa Ibath Matazarium La Ayanayahum Wala A Yasak Qualna. No. Yasa Qualanwa. Yasa Qualanwa. Verse 27. The Raka Shalashath Yam Nalaka Bamadabar was a Bath Nawa La Yahawa Alahaya Nawa Ba'ashar Ya Amar Alianawa. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 8, verse 21 in English. Else, if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies upon thee, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, and upon thy houses, and the houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarms of flies, also the ground whereon they are. Verse 22, and I will sever in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end that thou mayest know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth. I mean, my God.
Come on, man.
Verse 23, and I will put a division between my people and thy people. Tomorrow shall this sign be. Verse 24, and the Lord did so, and there came a grievous swarm of flies into the house of Pharaoh, and into his servant's house, and into all the land of Egypt, and the land was corrupted by reason of the swarm of flies. Verse 25, and Pharaoh called for Moses and for Aaron, and said, go ye, sacrifice your God in the land. Like, he think he's slick, like, you know. Okay, verse 26, and Moses said, it is not meet to do so, for we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians to the Lord our God. Lo, shall we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, and they will not stone us? Understand? So he trying to get Moses to pray in the Egyptian and to sacrifice in the Egyptian manner.
Sure.
And Moses ain't going for it. You understand? Because Pharaoh still thinks that he's God. You understand? That he really has the power. This is just a test. He ain't convinced yet, in other words.
He's not a believer.
Yeah, he will be.
The Lord gonna make him a believer. We wonder why these damn Egyptians and Africans hate us to this day.
To this day, man.
You know, you just imagine the stories that was passed down for generations and generations. You know what I mean? We're just saying like how they hate us and how we destroyed them. Just imagine.
You know, and like, I never forget this show that I saw, if I may, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I don't Gates, the guy Gates. He does that the genealogy show. He's a brother. He's his professor from.
Yeah, the sense of man. I ain't never seen
His name is something Gates, his last name, and he has a show where he traces back the lineage of people. You know, he uses DNA and he uses history. And one of the things he was able to do that I watched the show, I watched it about 2 or 3 times. And one show I watched where he went to a part of Africa. I'm trying to remember what country it was. He went to a country in Africa where this tribe, they admitted that they were a wealthy family, right? And they admitted on TV that's Mr. Gates, that they had gotten their wealth from selling slaves.
That's everything.
And this show was like no more than 3 or 4 years old. It's no more older than that.
You got to put that in the link, man.
If I could, but it's I got to find his last name is Gay. Like in the conscious community, he had some renown there because, you know, he's like a historian. And I think he was a professor of history at Harvard University. His last name is Gates. He's a brother, kind of light skinned, got glasses. And he had a show. I think he still has the show, and where he traces people's heritage. You know, and that was something to see. Like, they admitted right there that we got our wealth from selling slaves, from the slave trade. And here it is, like 400 years later, they still rich. You understand? I think it's not Bill Gates. But his name is Gates. I can't remember his first name, but everybody should see that show. And if I find it, I promise I'm going to share it with the brothers. If I'm able to find it, you got to see that, man. It was something to see, you know. You understand? But look what happened to them. They got destroyed by the oppressor just as well. You understand? This is the book of Exodus, chapter 8, verse 27. In the Hebrew, Baraka, Shalashath, Yum Yum Yum, Nalaka, Pamadabar, Hazabath Nawa, La Yahawa, Alahayanawa, Ka Ashar, Ya Amar, Aliyanawa. Verse 28. Waya Amar Parai Anakya Ashalak Aftakam Wazabath Kathum La Yahawa Alahayakam Pamadabar Rak Harakak La Barathia Kwawa. Barakia Kwawa. Never saw that word before. I don't remember. La Lakaf Aithian Raw Aithiarwa Aithiarwa Ba idea. Verse 29. Waya Amar Masha Hana Anakia Yawa Taza'a Ma'ai Maka Waha Aitharathia Salakia Waha Aitharathia Al Yahawah Wasar Ha'irab Mapa Parai Ma'ibadiawa Wama Aimwa Makar Rak Al Yasak Parai Hathol or Hathalah Laba Lathia Shalak Ath Ha'aim Lazabak La Yahawah. Verse 30. Waya Taza'ah Masha Ma'aim Parai Waya Aithar Al Yahawah. Verse 31. Waya Aish Yahawah Kadabar Masha Wayasar Ha'irab Maparai Ma'ai Badyawa Lama Aimwa La'a Nasha'ar Akkad. Verse 32. Waya Kabad Parai Ath Labwa Gum Bapa'aim Haza'ath Wala'a Shalak Ath Ha'aim. So we started at 27. Till we get one more. 9 and 1. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 9 and verse 1 in the Hebrew. Waya Amar Yahweh al-Mashah Ba'a al-Para'ai Wadabarath Aliyawa Ka Amar Yahweh al-Haya Ha'ai Barium Shalak Ath Amya Waya Ibadnawa Abadnawa Abadanya. Okay, we go back. We got one more set. Okay, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 8 and verse 27 in the Hebrew. And we will go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to the Lord our God as he shall command us. So he's telling them, yo, we ain't doing it your way. We doing it the way the Most High commanded us. Pharaoh thought he was slick with that one. I never picked up on that until this time we read it through. You know, it was fine. Christ. Verse 28. And Pharaoh said, I will let you go that ye may sacrifice to the Lord your God in the wilderness, only ye shall not go very far in treatment. You know, them slaves is valuable, boy. Okay. I need y'all. You understand? It's the same thing about America. It's just different. Like, they don't want us to leave too far, not necessarily physically leave, but from their ideology and their philosophy and their oppression. They want to keep us in that, man, because they know, man.
Come on, man. So much like what you're saying is heavy, man. Like what the brother is saying is so heavy, so much so that you ain't even got to be a Christian. He'd rather you be a Muslim. He'd rather you follow Egyptology. He'd rather you be an atheist. He's enforced, man. Like, man, listen, man. When you read these scriptures, and you realize just how much of like a diabolical monster the oppressor is, like all the layers of oppression, systematic oppression, all the, you know what I'm saying, like just religious oppression, like all the different ways that he oppresses us and pushes different culture and pushes propaganda. There's so many layers and so many like levels you got to break through. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I thank the Lord for this truth, man. You know what I'm saying? Because without Commander General Yohana, brother, you are lost. You are lost in this place, and you cannot figure it out by yourself. You cannot, because the oppressor is a cunning hunter, man, and he knows who his prey is, man. He's studied, you know what I'm saying? He's watched. He knows everything about us. He knows just how to destroy it. So much so that he's done it for generations, man. He destroyed your father and his father and his father. He is not a man to be played with. Which is why I'm saying, I say Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah to Commander Yohana and the Israelite School, Universal and Practical Knowledge, man. You know what I'm saying? For saving for saving our damn lives.
That's right.
Because this is a man that is not to be played with, not to be taken lightly. He's a diabolical monster. You know what I mean? I'm saying, like, he'd rather you embrace it. He's made it to where it's easy for you to embrace any other culture in the world except your own, man.
That's right.
You know what I mean? That is a perfect destruction. We will accept being an atheist, not even believing in a God, before we come back and serve the one true power, man. We'll accept being Muslim, Egyptology. We'll accept all these religions from around the world and these philosophies from around the world, except for the one that's right here in our face. You know what I mean? If that ain't the perfect destruction, man, good. Now I don't know what the hell is.
Come on. They became so bold with it. You know, these devils and these heathen have become so bold with it that the Dalai Lama tongue kiss a 6-year-old boy on film.
Oh, man.
That was one of the most incredible. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
That's disgusting.
Hey, man. Come on, y'all.
Come on, man. Them Catholic priests literally put their mouths on a baby's rod. The Jews, Salakia, Catholic priest, the Jew, they all look the same to me. Salakia, you're right. So-called Jewish man, my bad. Catholic priest, we know they just molesting boys behind closed doors. My apologies. You know what I'm saying? The Jewish man, you know what I'm saying? Like that. When I learned about that, when I came into the truth, I couldn't even. It didn't make you hear something you like, nah, he's just playing. They ain't real. They really do that, man.
If I may, sir.
Con.
I don't know about other states, but it was a big lawsuit in New York where the power of the Jewish man is so prevalent that they were able to make that function, that right, that religious right, they call it. It's legal in the state of New York for them to do that, where they actually, there's a name for it. I don't care what the name is. I don't give a damn. But there's a name for the procedure. It is not in the Bible. It's something, I think they got it from the Talmud. You understand? But it is a legal, in New York State, it's a legal function where they actually do what this brother said, where they, when they doing the circumcision, they cut the foreskin of the penis and they, oh my God. Let's go on,
Right, if we could. Crazy, man.
Verse 29. And Moses said, behold, I will go out from thee, and I will entreat the Lord that swarms of flies may depart from Pharaoh and from his servants and from his people tomorrow, but let not Pharaoh deal deceitfully anymore, and not letting the people go to sacrifice to the Lord. Verse 30. And Moses went out from Pharaoh and entreated the Lord. And the Lord did according to the word of Moses. And he removed the swarm of flies from Pharaoh and from his servants and from his people. There remained not one. And Pharaoh hardened his heart at this time also. Neither would he let the people go. So that's a deceiver. That's a devil. You understand? If you want to know what a devil is, you understand an example? We're reading about it right now. He is a deceiver. He's a liar. And we're under the same spirit right now in America. America is Egypt again. It's the same thing. You understand? They just shuffled the deck a little bit. That's all they did.
Right.
That's all they did. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 9 and verse 1. And the Lord said unto Moses, go in unto Pharaoh and tell him, thus saith the Lord, the God of the Hebrew, let my people go, that they may serve me. Question: how come all the gods of these other nations have perished, but our God and our book is the most popular book on the planet Earth where everybody wants a piece of it? Answer yourself that question. How is that possible when we've been under 7 major captivities? We've been oppressed for over 3,000 years, but yet our God prevails over all others because he is the true God. He is the power that created the heavens and the earth. You understand? And all of y'all out there, y'all going to find out if you live long enough, you're going to find out the truth. We got one more, sir?
That was the last one.
That was the last one. That was 9. Exodus 9 and 1.
You know what I'm saying? That was the book of Exodus chapter 9, verse 1. You know what I'm saying? So next week, Lord allow, we'll pick up at Exodus chapter 9, verse 2, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep bringing out this truth. You know what I'm saying? That this Bible is pivotal when it comes to changing your life to serving the Lord, man. Knowing who the hell you are to be able to even have a future. You can't have a future if you don't know who you are, man. You can't. You can't have a righteous future, I should say. You know what I mean? You want to have a righteous future, you want to get closer to the Lord, you got to come read these records, man. Got to come read these records to know who the hell you are, to know who you're supposed to be for the Lord, man. You understand? So with that, up here, we're just going to say Amidium. Men of Israel, gird thyself to prepare us to the Torah. Yeah, that's all. Little mishaps.
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Barakayah.
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Barakayah.
So Midium, which means to stand. Wapaniakwadum, which means rise and face east. We'll start off with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew.
Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kadash.
Quadash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shemka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakwaka.
Malakwaka.
Taba'ah.
Taba'ah.
Ratazayaka.
Ratazayaka.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Ba'aratazah.
Ba'aratazah.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Bashemayim.
Bashemayim.
Natanlanawa.
Latananawa.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Cow.
Cow.
Yawum.
Yawum.
Wasalaknawa.
Wasalaknawa.
Kabawathnawa.
Kabawatnawa.
Kasalaknawa.
Kasalaknawa.
Kabawathnawa.
Kabawathnawa.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Tabi'ayanawa.
Tabi'aynawa.
Banasaya 1.
Banasaya 1.
Abol.
Abol.
Hawashayanawa.
Habashaynawa.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Rai.
Rai.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Hamalakwa.
Hamalakwa.
Waha'ala.
Waha'ala.
Wahaflaparis.
Wa'atapara.
Iwalamium.
Lawilonium.
Aman.
Aman. In English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
The prayer for the power of the Hakak in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah.
Babakashah.
Babakashah.
Natananawa.
Latananawa.
Hakak.
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 La Para'ah.
La Pa'ah.
Kal Makala.
Ka Makala.
Wakal Madawa.
Wakal Madawa.
Hakak.
Hakak.
Latahar.
Atahar.
Har Matazarayam.
Hamatazarayim.
Hakak.
Hakak.
Lahakwiam.
Lahaquium.
Hamathiam.
Hamathium.
Hakak.
Hakak.
Al Rarakal Wath.
Awakawath.
Hatama'ala.
Hatama'ala.
Lagara Shun.
Lagar Shun.
Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah.
The Wada Aman.
Tawara Aman. In English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shah. Please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shah, thank you, so be it.
Prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Alahayim.
Wa Alahayim.
Matazabaya.
Matazab Yah.
Alawap Yahana.
Alawap Yahana.
Alawapium.
Alawapium.
Asaranyam.
Hasaranyam.
Quatazayanyam.
Hakwatazayanyam.
Koyoyoyum.
Hakoyayoyum.
Wahagwatian.
Wahagwathian.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashem Yahweh Shai.
Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah.
Tawada Aman.
Tawara Aman. In the English, bless you, Yahweh. And Yahweh Shah. And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yohana. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shah. Thank you. So be it.
121st Psalm in the Hebrew. Sha'ah.
Aisha.
Ayanya.
Ayanya.
Al-Hahariam.
Al-Hahariam.
Ma'ayan.
Ma'ayan.
Yaba'ah.
Yaba'ah.
Izaria.
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 Ma'aim.
Ma'aim.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Shamayam.
Shamayam.
Wa'aratazah.
Wa'aratazah.
Al-Yathan.
Al-Yathan.
Lamawat.
Lamawat.
Regalka.
Wagolka.
Al-Yanawam.
Yanawam.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Hanala'ah.
Hanala'ah.
Yanawam.
Yanawam.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Yayashun.
Yayashun.
Shawamar.
Shawamar.
Yasha'ala.
Yasha'ala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tazalka.
Tazalka.
Al-Yad.
Al-Yad.
Yamyaka.
Yamyaka.
Yawaman.
Yawamam.
Hashamash.
Hashamash.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yakaka.
Yakaka.
Wayarak.
Wayarak.
Balayallah.
Balayallah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamarka.
Yashamarka.
Kalrai.
Karai.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Athnapashka.
Athnapashka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Tazaatka.
Tazaaka.
Wabawa'atka.
Wabawa'aka.
Mayatha.
Maitha.
Wa'aid Iwalam.
Wa'aid Abalam. In English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help?
My help coming from the Lord,
My help cometh from the Lord,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be
He
moved.
will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee will not
He
slumber.
that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade
The Lord is thy shade
upon thy right hand.
upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by
nor
day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee from all
The
evil.
Lord shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy
He
soul.
shall preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in
and thy coming in
from this time forth
from this time forth.
and even forevermore.
The 83rd Psalm in the Hebrew. Alahayim,
Alahayim,
El Dami Alaka,
Al Dami Alaka,
Al Thakarash,
Al Takarash,
Wa Al Thashakwat,
Wa Al Tashakwat,
Al
Al
Kayahana,
Kayahana,
Awayabyaka,
Awayabyaka,
Yahama,
Yahama,
Yawan,
Yawan,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Al Imaka,
Al Imaka,
Yairayamwa,
Yarayamu,
Sawada,
Sawada,
Wayatha,
Wayatha,
Yai Tazawa,
Yaitazawa,
Al Tazapawanyaka,
Atazapawanyaka,
Amarwa,
Amarawa,
Lakawa,
Lakawa,
Wanakaki,
Wanakakida,
Magoya,
Magoya,
Wala'a,
Wala,
Yazakar,
Yazakar,
Sham Yasha'ala,
Sham Yashala,
Iwada,
Iwada,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Nawa Tazawa,
Nama Aitazawa,
Laba,
Laba,
Yakadwa,
Yakadwa,
Alyaka,
Awyaka,
Barayaf,
Barayaf,
Yakarathwa,
Yakarathwa,
Aholya,
Aholya,
Adawam,
Adawam,
Wayashamai,
Wayashamai,
Alayam,
Alayam,
Mawa'aba,
Mawa'aba,
Wahagari,
Wahagariam,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Wa'aimalak, Wa'amawan,
Wa'amawan,
Wa'aimalak,
Wa'amalak,
Palasha,
Palasha,
I'm Yashabia,
I'm Yashabya,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gam Ashawu,
Gam Ashawar,
Nalawa,
Nalawa,
Imam,
Imam,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Zarawai,
Zarawai,
Labanya Lawat,
Labanya Lawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Aishalaham,
Aishalaham,
Kamadjin,
Kamadyan,
Kasaya,
Kasaya,
Sara'ah,
Sara'ah,
Kayabian,
Kayabian,
Panakal,
Panakal,
Kwayashwan,
Kwayashwan,
Nashamadwa,
Nashamadwa,
Ba'ayan,
Bayan,
Da'ara,
Dara,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Daman,
Daman,
La'adama,
Laadama,
Shayatamwa,
Shayatamwa,
Nada,
Nada,
Yabmawa,
Yabmawa,
Ka'arab,
Karab,
Wakazaba,
Wakazaba,
Wakazabak,
Wakazabak,
Wakatazal,
Wakatazol,
Mana'ai,
Manai,
Kal Nasaya Kamwa,
Kal Nasai Kamwa,
Ashar,
Ashar,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Nayarashah,
Nayarasha,
Nanawa,
Nalawa,
Af,
Af,
Na'awa,
Na'awa,
Alahayam,
Alahayam,
Alahaya,
Alahaya,
Shayatamwa,
Shayatomwa,
Kagogala,
Kagogala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapanya Rawaka,
Lapanyarabaka,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Tabi'aira,
Tabayaira,
Ya'ira,
Yaira,
Wakalahaba,
Wakalahaba,
Talahat,
Salahat,
Harayam,
Harayam,
Khan,
Khan,
Taradapma,
Taradapma,
Basa Iraka,
Basairaka,
Wabasa,
Wabasa,
Wapathka,
Wapathka,
Tabahalam,
Tabahalam,
Mala'a,
Malaa,
Panyaham,
Panyaham,
Kwalawan,
Kwalawan,
Wayabakwashwa,
Wayabakwashwa,
Shimka,
Shimka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa,
Wayabaholwa,
Wayabaholwa,
Aija'ai,
Ayai,
Wayakaparwa,
Wayakaparwa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayadayawa,
Wayadayawa,
Kaya Atha,
Kayatha,
Shimka,
Shimka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Labadka,
Labadka,
Al Yawan,
Al Yawan,
Al Kal Ha'aratazar,
Al Kaharatazah. In English, keep not thy silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kisan, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeeb, yea, all their princes, as Abba and as Almunah, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as a fire burneth a wood, and as a flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them
with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and trouble forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High of all the earth.
Men of Israel, Abijam, turn and face the teacher, men of Israel. We give the teacher one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Abijam, Shabbat, Abijam, Barak, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Barakatah,
Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Barakatah.
Yajamatah. Class dismissed.
Real quick.